much for coming. Everyone in Supernatural so appreciates the fans, and we couldn't do it without you. And you guys are the reason that we're on the air. So thank you. So we want to do something a little special for you guys today. So originally, the conversation was to show you guys sort of a general kind of clip reel, sort of traditional teaser of season 4. Well, too bad, because that shit ain't happening. Because I said, you know what, they've come all the way out, they've supported the show, and there will be the gag reel at the end of the program. I said, they've come out and they've supported the show, and they deserve something a little extra special. So we're going to show you the exclusive, never before seen except here, the first 5 minutes of the season 4. So the only caveats are shit's all temp, it's like temp effects, temp music, whatever, but never before seen anywhere and never will again until the premiere. So enjoy it. So we present you first 5 minutes of season 4.
First of all, we have our moderator, a senior writer for Entertainment Weekly, Miss Linda Wheat. Secondly, our creator executive producer, Mr. Eric Kripke. Able to make it last year, but he's here this year, Mr. Jared Padalecki. And Mr. Jensen Ackles. I'm sure most of your favorite episodes, Miss Sarah Gamble. And co-executive producer and writer of most of your other favorite episodes, Mr. Ben Edlin. In addition, of course, Mr. Eric Kripke, who writes the other most of your favorite episodes. Turning it over to Miss Linda Wheat.
Hey, super fans. I guess my first question was answered, sort of.
What's that?
Where exactly is Dean?
Yeah. You're exactly him.
Out of hell, apparently. Dean, for us in the writer's room, kind of on day one, me, Sarah, Ben, and the rest of the gang, we're talking about season 4, and we said, the big question is, does Dean get out of hell? And then about 20 seconds later, we were like, well, no shit, he gets out of hell. So then we quickly moved on to the next question, which is how he gets out of hell, and that the mystery of what brought him out and what he was doing in hell and what Sam was doing in his time away from Dean. That these would be the interesting questions and the primary concerns of season 4, which we're creating to unfold with a lot more mystery than maybe we've done in past seasons. It's 4 months later, as you can see, and sort of how they spent that time away from each other, which has been really fun for the writers to write, because they can surprise each other again, and they can keep secrets from each other. And we haven't been able to do that since the beginning of season 1. So it's been fun.
And not just because he's out of hell doesn't mean that he's out of danger.
If he was out of danger, this would become a very boring show. No, it's all the same. And in fact, we think the danger gets worse. And maybe we ratchet it up tonight. I think there'll be times where he'll be looking fondly back on his time in hell. It was so warm. It was like a jacuzzi.
Yeah! I think I got it first. I got it louder.
All right, enough of the Jared Jensen battle. Behave yourselves.
I swear you get a chance for the Q&A. I swear.
Yeah, who loves me?
My next question is for Jensen. That's a part here.
Hi.
Hey, you are hot. the other producers must have sat you down and said, "We're going to have to kill you." Tell us about that conversation.
No, that didn't happen. No, I just read it. It's like, what the? Yeah, they just kind of unfold things to us as we get scripts. So until we make the phone call down there and go, "What the hell are you doing?" And then they'll give us some insight. But I remember when I read it last season that oh, going to hell. Okay. Flipping through that last script, and I get to the last page, and it's like, oh, come on, it's got to be a typo. And it wasn't. So then I called Eric. I'm like, so how am I coming back? He's like, I don't know. I don't know. I figured that one out yet. So.
Start worrying about your mortgage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So much for house hunting.
And now to be fair, Jared, Sam took a seriously bloodthirsty turn last season. He had a really good explanation for it, though. He's just trying to be more like Dean, trying to go through this world with the demons. Should we buy that explanation?
First and foremost, let's hear it from my support for what the performance you just saw. It's all about the support crew, so I just want to say I worked really hard. I think it's some of my finest work.
Riveting performance.
I think, Sam, unless the brilliant bookends of this panel know otherwise, I think Sam believes he's coming from a place of wanting to make the world a better place. I think he really thinks he wants to get rid of demons. He's not like, maybe I'll just entertain the idea of just being a killer. Like I think, his role models have unfortunately been this clown and our dad, so he doesn't have much to go on. Something's going on behind. And so, but he's coming from a place of wanting to get rid of demons and ghosts and baddies, just like his folks or his dad and his brother.
So we shouldn't still be nervous about that.
As long as Eric is creating the show, you should always be nervous.
And Eric, speaking of their dad, how likely are we to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
We would love to have Jeffrey. There's an open invitation for Jeff. Jeffrey's like a busy and fantastic man. I mean, Watchmen. But we love him and we love the role and we love seeing them together. And in the show like Supernatural, no one's dead forever. And, you can always find ways to bring people back. Honestly, it's about scheduling. He's so busy and awesome. But if we can do it, we would love to do it.
Well, speaking of people not exactly being dead forever, by the end of the season, Ruby, Bella, Gordon, and obviously Dean were either presumed or confirmed dead.
Yes.
For all of the producers, how many of these people and or demons could possibly be coming back this season? Resurrection of some sort.
Anyone can be coming back at any time on our show.
But I'd also say not many. I'll throw it to the guys.
Ben?
I totally missed that question. Oh, I got a note. Go on, ask it again.
We had some great actresses last season that we were very, very sad to see go. And we have a new storyline that we're unfolding for season 4. And Eric will beat me about the Head and Shoulders if I tell you too much about it. So
I will.
He threw the question to me as a test, more or less, because there's not much I can really say about it. But there are, listen, dead people come back all the time on the show. Yeah.
Death is a permeable membrane on this show, it's true.
For sure, yeah.
And for Ben, Sarah, and Eric, everybody knows that there was a months-long writer's strike last season. How did that affect the arc of the stories you were trying to tell and changing things up?
I think it actually, in some ways, had a pretty good effect. The ending of the season kind of, it became very concise because it had to go from A to B to C. It just became a very lean machine. I think that was good. And then, the writer's strike was an effective political action. That was good, too.
So there were no stories that you had to sort of scuttle?
We had to. We were going to delve more deeply in season 3 into their mother, because we set it up at the beginning of the season and then never paid it off. We were going to delve a little deeper into Sam's journey, sort of where he's going, and sort of the flirtation to use these abilities that were kind of growing inside him. These are all becoming, primary concerns in season 4. We're going to see Mary and John as younger. I think John's 20 and Mary's 18 as soon as episode 4. So really early, we're getting into the storylines that we had to drop, because we sort of, the storyline that seemed the one that we had to answer was Dean's deal and whether he went to hell. So we kind of put everything else on the back burner until we were able to address that, and then we'll get into the other stuff in season 4.
And, go ahead. Eric, you once said that you would be quite happy for the show to run 5 seasons.
Yeah.
As we go into season 4, do you still feel that way?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And actually, my bosses are in the room, so I want to do it forever. It's better to go out on top. I'm really afraid of jumping the shark. Like, that's like a huge fear of mine. I've made this joke before, but I don't want Hawaiian weddings and Raven Simone and like the whole, like, we're in London now and hilarious and just all that shark jumping. And better to go out like on top and strong. And this a story like this is so epic and has, it wants to have an ending where you can walk away kind of satisfied and smoke a cigarette rather than just dragging off into a inevitable slide into mediocrity. And I want to try to avoid that if you can.
And the rest of you all seem to be nodding along with that. You agree?
Whatever Eric says.
Sarah,
Jensen?
I'm barely keeping the circus contained up here. Sarah and Ben, tell me about some of the favorite episodes that you've written this season.
This season I wrote...
The past season.
Yeah, okay, good. Because I wrote one. That's my favorite. I love it. Actually, the one I just finished is a really interesting... it's one of my favorites, but I think right now... I like Ghostfacers. To be honest.
Who came up with that idea?
Pardon me?
Who came up with Ghostfacers?
Well, actually I came in and said kind of like, I think we should do the Blair Witch sort of video kind of Ghost Hunters thing. And Eric was behind it. So then we just had to sit down and make it all up. I think they were going to be the Boo Boys for a while, right?
What were there? The Boys and Boo?
Oh, yeah.
It's terrible. And for the record, that was like I'm like, well, we're gonna call them the Boys and Boo. And then Ben's like, don't be an idiot, we're calling them the Ghostfacers. And for the record, when Ben pitched it, I just want to be clear about this. When he came in and he's like, so I want to do this episode, and they're called the Ghostfacers, and they have this theme song, and here's the song. And then he sang, Bob Singer and I, the entire song. Like, he'd worked it, he's like, I'm going to come up with a pitch and lyrics. And like, we were like, we love it! And I think it was the song that actually sold it.
Well, that's good to know. I'll put a song in every episode. I really love it. Fish sings. Can he come? If the fish sings, can he come?
Oh. He wants, okay. Ben keeps pitching this episode about this wishing fish. It's like this fish that you hold in your hands and makes your wishes come true, and he goes, and every time it's time to pitch an episode, he's like, so, okay, here's how the wishing fish can work. Every effing time, and we're like, maybe, it's like every time Charles Manson comes up for parole, we're always like, it's not gonna...
He was always going to be a koi this time, remember? Yeah. I'm going to get that fish.
Sarah, did you have a favorite past season that you wrote?
This is my least favorite question. But, well, it's one of my least favorite.
It was Eric's question.
I'm a big fan of Justin Bellow. First and foremost, because I think you two did such a tremendous job, both of you. And you know, when you write a show that takes place primarily in one location, and you write like 6-page scenes where people are talking, there's a lot of potential for it to suck, and for it to be all the writer's fault. And when it goes well, it's because the director was awesome and the writers were awesome. And the director was awesome and the actors were awesome.
Say what you mean.
Because they were awesome and Phil Secretia was awesome and you know, everyone on the set really did a great job. And you know, it was one of those things where the hammer was over our head and we were about to go on strike. And Eric came to me and said, I know you want to do an episode about what happens when you're dreaming, but I want you to do this episode about cops instead. And I was like, I don't really want to do an episode about cops instead. But it turned out to be really fun and cool. So, you know, a little out of my wheelhouse is the way to go, I think. Yeah.
And Jared, you're hot too. Yeah. There are rumors.
I'm so glad she's saying it so I don't have to.
There are rumors that Sam is getting a serious girlfriend in season 4. Is that true?
You know what? I'd love to be able to answer that question, but that would go back to you.
Actually,
You have to find out, huh?
well, there's that, and then like Holly, who's our publicist, came to us with a quote to describe. There's this character, Christy, and you know, there's some potential exchange of bodily fluids with Sam. But
Not like, hey, you're gonna have a kissing scene. Get prepared.
Yeah. We get real graphic. We get real basic instinct. But they asked me to describe the. They asked me to. Holly asked me to describe the character so she could kind of release, you know, a description, and so I released, and I do sort of, you know, to the fans who get upset by this, but I wrote in love interest just kind of to screw with you guys. Because you guys get so angry every time we reference love interest, like, you dash your teeth online, and you're like, I hate it, why? And so we were like, you know, it was kind of late in the day, and I may have been one beer deep, and I was sort of like, say love interest, because I want to see how upset they get. So, but don't sweat it, like, it's not like, anyway, I think you'll be pleased with where the character goes, but we wrote in love interest to
Just to mess with us.
F with you guys, yeah.
Well, so speaking of things like that, Jared, Jensen, you've been with these guys now for 3 years. Is there anything that they're writing that still surprises you? Anything about the turns in the characters, or anything that happened in the last season that you were like, I so didn't see that coming?
For me, it's yes and no. I think the first season I realized that I was going to be so surprised by everything that just not to expect anything or not expect anything. How's that for mystery? So no, I'm not really surprised anymore. And you know, Eric and the bunch have kind of explained what they want to do, what they're thinking, but it's likely to change. So I've realized that, you know, I'm an actor telling their story, so wherever their story goes is where I go.
I think the most. A lot of crickets on that one. I think actually the most surprised I've been is the beginning of this season, and where they're taking the story of the characters and what's happening. I had a long talk with Eric when we got back to work, and I think it was probably the most intense conversation as far as just going over the story that we had in the history of the show. It's a storyline that's I'm not gonna get anything away, but it's gonna unfold, and it's gonna really add a lot of elements that we haven't dealt with on the show into it, and I'm pretty excited about that. I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, for what it's worth, we, as the writers, are kind of, I think we have story ideas at least through 10 at this point, so we're almost closing on halfway done. But we're giggling like schoolgirls in the writers' room. We feel like season 4 is, we hope you guys dig it because we're, for what it's worth, the writers are really loving it. And and anyone who's read interviews with me knows that I can be critical about stuff. And I think certain episodes of season 3 were just okay, but I feel like season 4 we're just like kicking the doors off it and going in some places that I think people will find really interesting and entertaining.
Yeah.
I was fishing for applause.
He's not just saying that. He really isn't. For my money, it's the best mythology we've done since season 1, for sure.
Tell us what those writers.
Why, I agree also.
Ben hates it.
Tell us what those writers' room meetings are like when you're talking about mythology and you're trying to hash it all out.
Sorry, repeat the question, didn't hear you.
I'm sorry, tell us what the writers' room meetings are like when you're trying to hash out that mythology and everything. Like, how do you even keep it all straight and keep it all together and say, no, we can't do that because then that would conflict with this, and then, just how do you...
Actually, Eric is very good, I think, we have a room that can go insane for a period of time, and then Eric you just did it last week. I went crazy for a whole day. Warner Brothers, I owe you a day. But in terms of process, like for mythological beats like that, there's a lot of pressure testing and sitting around, and these are the big decisions. Actually, a lot of them come almost easily. This year is rocking, and a part of it is somehow the wheels of the universe that are being defined in this season, they just provide a tremendous amount of fruit. The wheels bear fruit.
Yeah, we've had tougher, I think last year was a tough mythology season for us. The deal was a really effective organizing impulse, but we had just killed our main bad guy, and it took us time to sort of get into the new big bad, and it was like they say in baseball, it was a building season. But I feel like, this year we can't stop the ideas from dribbling out of our mouths in terms of where we're going, and we're really picking up momentum in a really fun way. So I think people dig it.
Is there a theme of this season, a big overarching idea?
Pornography. There is, and there really is, and we can't say it. We're trying to. There's certain things we're actually trying not to spoil. That's all.
And Eric, you said before that you'll kill one of the boys before you kill that car.
Totally.
Dude, it's a 67 Impala.
He's already killed both of us, though.
Yeah, I know. So the funny thing is,
I'll do it again.
When Dean was in hell, we were like doing it kind of like, is this the third time we've killed him? And we're like, it's gonna lose impact after a while. We're like, we'll just kill him again. Whatever.
The mystery spot, it might be the 60th.
Oh yeah, shit, you're right. 70 times.
No one's still here, pal.
Can't shake me. You can't hold me down. You kill me. I'm coming back. The Impala's the third character, and we've said that often before. It's this is a western, and the Impala's Trigger. And, everyone cares. Everyone cares about Trigger. And everyone. I love that people have the affection of the car. The shows I grew up watching and loving were very car as a character heavy. I grew up I love, and I know they're not the best shows, but I love Knight Rider. I love and I just love the shows where you had iconic cars, and I would say one of the things I think I'm most proud of about Supernatural is that we've created a car that to its fans is I hope reaches that level of iconography, and so that's been really exciting and fun, and that's a great car. Handles like a shopping cart. It's not a mean machine at all.
So it's not a product placement thing, I guess.
Well, I think we have some time for questions from you guys if you want to ask. Anybody? Anybody want to ask a question?
Mine's like halfway back
Mike is
here.
right over there.
They started lining up after like 2 minutes after the preview.
Have a question, please.
What happened? Oh, are you filming?
No, pilot, it shoots marshmallows.
Everybody down. Everybody down.
They're setting it up with crickets.
Ginger wanted to tell y'all guys something.
Are you filming the screen or the people? I was filming the people.
We're ready.
Oh, right over here? Hi.
You have to.
Hi, my name's Vanessa. I'm from the middle of nowhere. Jensen Ackles, I followed you from your soap operas to Dawn's Georgia and Jesse Shear. I love you so much, but the thing is that I've been seeing impaired most of my life, and it hurts to see TV. And my dream, my lifelong dream, is to physically see you. I can't see you at all right now. I just want to see you. You're fuzzy at this point. Okay.
Focus.
My dad stepped on my glasses the day before Comic-Con.
Holly will talk. We'll have the Holly will talk to you when it's. When we. Holly will.
Like, is there a doctor in the house?
Holly will.
Can we help?
Right up front. Here you go.
Everybody down. Everybody down. Everybody down if you're in line. I'm blocking the view from everybody over this way.
All right, team down. Who's next?
Who wants to check this out?
It's okay.
I'll take Jensen. Sorry. My name's Claudia. I'm from Australia. We're here on honeymoon. Wow.
Congratulations.
Being from Australia, we love AC/DC, and for us, Highway is really thematic. And I'm curious about how you guys go about the music of the show, because for us, that's almost like it sets everything up for us.
I think it was always, from Eric's point, it was always going to be an integral part of the show.
Yeah, I'm from the Midwest of the United States, and sort of classic rock was a big deal there. And, it was sort of, I really hate the general soundtrack of a lot of TV shows. I just don't listen to anything recorded after 1983, so it was really important to me that classic rock soundtrack. It's a Midwestern thing, and they're Midwestern guys, and it sort of fits the show. So I was really adamant about it, to the point where I think in the pilot script, I even think I wrote cue music, and you can, take your anemic alternative pop and shove it up your ass. And so we, and AC/DC, who we hear watches the show and really loves it, appreciates what we've done, and it's like all these great bands like Foreigner and Supertramp and many others, Blue Oyster Cult, and so putting them in the show is really fun. I love. I'm really proud of how the show sounds. It's really kind of signature of the show. I love the show. So, okay.
Woo! Hi, my name is Beth. Jensen, that was amazing. I'm glad to see the tattoo came back.
This is kind of weird. What are you guys doing here?
We're doing an interview, man.
For what?
For a Supernatural TV show.
Like a TV comic book? Yeah. What? I've got. Yeah, kick her up. Yeah. How's her light? Is her light good?
Framed
That's
up.
good. Yeah. Do you
Framed
guys
up.
even have like a theme song on?
Yeah, what's your guys' theme song?
We go.
You want to hear it? It goes a little something like this.
had a leg. What did you come up with that on a role-playing game random name generator?
Guys, you do realize that Sam and Dean are characters in a television. It's just a show. Series.
But characters in Ghostfacers.
Yeah. But yeah, we just wanted to let you know, we're opening up a school. We're teaching some new moves.
Yeah, we kind of noticed that you guys didn't quite have all the moves.
Yeah, you guys are into like mixed martial arts and stuff, right?
MMA.
Rock salt, MMA. We started this thing, GMA.
Ghost martial arts.
Yeah. Sweep kick and ground and pound. You like that? Just like that. Watch out, see if I was a ghost, I would have knocked out.
It's all white belt.
Yeah, pretty much. But other than that, yeah, so how you guys been? You alright?
We've been busy working on the show, man.
Yeah, this show. Oh shit, my phone's blowing up.
Hang on.
Oh, get it.
I got it.
Go for
Harry?
Yeah, sorry. We have a...
Go for Harry. Yep.
We have a spike.
We got a spec from the South Tower.
We got a spec from the
South Tower. We gotta go face
face
some ghosts. Hey, if you guys want to get back on TV, you let us know.
So,
Losers.
we're working out the specific details, but stay tuned. This won't be the last you've heard from the Ghost Feaster. There may be in various mysterious and alternative media, there may be a short form spin-off series. Yeah! But we don't know. It's all being planned and it's all top secret. We weren't sure when we were planning that. We're like, is that going to be great or is that going to be effing lame? And that was great. That was cool.
Eric, I have to know, did you ever hear from the real ghost hunters after that?
No, they never contacted us. They sent me a dead cat in a box. Okay.
Do you have other questions?
Sarah, hi. I just want to say I got the tattoo with your challenge there, so I'm glad to see it made it back up.
Are you kidding me?
Holy crap, you got the tattoo?
Not for real, sorry. Just head off.
Well, for the life of that tattoo, you can't be possessed.
It's very good to know. My question is, both Eric, Jensen, and Jared, does Bon Jovi really rock on occasion? And could you guys talk about filming that particular scene? Maybe even sing a few lines.
I love it. Jensen will sing you a few lines.
The funniest part about that was Eric calls and he goes, okay, dude, you have to sing off key.
He just said it in the script.
Yeah, he's like, Jensen, no singing on key.
Yeah.
It must be off key.
Because Jensen's like actually a pretty damn good singer. Jared sucks out loud, but Jensen and so I was worried that if I didn't write anything, and that nothing would kill that scene, rather than that's about boisterous in a car, and if you actually sang it well, you'd be like, oh. But so I wrote in the script like, Jensen, don't sing it well.
Sing it!
I mean, you just guys are ghost facers. I'm not going to try to... That was fun, though. I remember we had to sing it about, how many times we had to sing it? It was like a dozen times or something, and by the end of the day, we were both hoarse. But good times.
Maybe should the writers sing.
They make us sing. All right.
Why don't we move on to the next question? What's going to sing for you people?
Yeah, my question is Sam going to start getting do his powers again, and is he going to develop more and become more powerful on his powers?
Eric?
No, we cannot. Obviously, a big part of the season is sort of this.
I just want to say something.
This.
Oh, and can I have Jensen? Can I have your name tag, please?
Then they won't know who he is.
Jared's got dibs.
I'm gonna shove it right up his. What?
Eric, about the powers, the powerful powers.
Yeah. So anyway, the big part of Sam's storyline is does he go down this path and the good intentions he feels as he goes down it. So obviously that's a part of it, but we're not going to say certainly here whether he uses his powers or not. Okay.
I agree.
There you go.
Okay.
I think my legs are sleeping. Okay, visually, very much, I notice a lot of similarities between what you guys are doing on screen and a lot of Asian horror films. I was wondering what movies were your favorites from that Asian genre of horror, which is so damn good.
Oh, horror.
That's what's funny. Every joke that's rolling through my head. It's like the most
Censor.
Can't say that one. Can't do that one. The originals of The Ring and The Grudge, of course, are just because they were the powerhouses. Not necessarily the remakes, but the originals. Were a big influence on Supernatural. The original, it's like basically a ton of movies that got remade into really crappy Hollywood movies. So like the original Eye, we bring up a lot. We bring up the original Dark Water.
The original Pulse, although I don't know what the hell happened in that. That was amazing for Creed.
Yeah. So any others, Ben, that we're always banning about?
Others?
No. Anyway.
There are many.
The one, what's the, is it Two Sisters? No, the,
Wait a minute.
is that the right title? That's in Jared's collection. Two Sisters. I think it's isn't that a real title of okay, thank you.
Next question.
Hi, my name's Kathy. I've been a huge fan of the show right from the beginning. And just for the past few seasons, you guys have had some really great guest stars like Trisha Helfer, Linda Blair, Billy Grego, Count Keith Rennie, my favorite. And I was wondering if you guys have plans for any more sort of loose cult figure guest stars for this season, maybe even somebody like Bruce Campbell?
I'll answer Bruce Campbell, and then I'll let Jensen answer the other one. But the Bruce Campbell we go after every season, and he is a regular on Burn Notice. Doing like for some reason a plug for Burn Notice. So he turned us down, but we did just close a cool piece of guest cast though. All right. So Bish Pileggi. Skinner from X-Files will be it's the time travel episode, and he is playing Mary's father. So Sam and Dean's grandfather is Skinner from the X-Files.
It's always nice when those characters from those type of shows or movies show up because they really get the genre of the show that we're doing, and it's so kind of effortless to work with them. They come on, they know how it goes, they know that what we're doing might be completely ridiculous, but it's but it works. And so it's really nice when guys like that come on, or women like that come on. It makes for a nice dynamic.
Ridiculous.
Son of a bitch.
Earlier you guys spoke about characters may or may not be coming back. Is there a chance that Dean and Bella will see each other in hell?
No. Lauren was great. I love the job she did. She was a terrific actress, but I don't necessarily feel. I feel the writers did that character a disservice, and it didn't write the character as well as Lauren as an actress deserved to have. And so it didn't quite work in the confines of the show. So she ended up going the way she went. So no, I don't think they'll be interacting now. Way to bring the room down, Kripke.
I was wondering, in the first season when Supernatural debuted, the critics talked a lot about the Eric Kripke philosophy of horror, which was what you don't see is more frightening than what you do see. In season 3, it seemed like we saw most of it, and I was wondering the rationale behind the change in horror style.
I just love that much.
You branded it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. We certainly got a little gorier in season 3. I think it was a little dictated by the particular stories. I mean, when you're doing that, when you're doing Sarah's Doc Benton, like a necessary surgery episode, it's like a badass episode. I mean, she's just picking one. I think, when Gordon died and Doc Benton and all those, which were Sarah episodes last year, just all badass. But they sort of required a certain amount of gore to be appropriate to the story. Believe me, there's a lot that we talk about in the writer's room of what you would see that you end up not seeing. So even those, but I think it's a little dictated by story. And last year we just happened to have some ickier. We went into some gooier places, I guess. So that sort of required that kind of storytelling.
Bella moved a lot through third season to, wow, she makes Sam and Dean so funny, to, wow, she makes Sam and Dean so deceased. What prompted that? What prompted that in the creative process?
I'm not sure I understand the question. What made she made them fun? What do you mean?
She made Sam and Dean really funny at the beginning of the third season, and then she kind of made them more dead. So I was wondering how she moved as a character through the creative process, how you came to that conclusion that she moved that way.
Well, seemed like yeah, I think
you created her.
I know. It seems like a problem for you. No, I would say that the character was pretty consistent. I mean, she was constant in her, attempts to get what she wanted. And in the beginning, I think the tone of one episode when she started was funny. And by the time her actions caught up with an episode that had more dramatic impact, those actions translated into slightly more deadly consequences, or potentially more. So I don't think that she stopped disliking them.
No, and I feel like, unfortunately, hardwired into her DNA to have a road show, and she wasn't actually tied into the mythology. So that every time she showed up, it became a coincidence, and it was a coincidence that became more and more astounding every time they happened to run across her again. And were we to do it again, I think we probably would have tied her in a little more into the DNA and mythology of the show. And I think that was our mistake, and Lauren, worked valiantly under sort of our failings.
We have time for one more question.
Jensen and Jared, you both expressed an interest in the Western genre. I'm wondering, would you ever consider doing a ghost town Western type themed episode?
No.
I'd love to. In a sense, we are kind of doing a Western. The show is, like Kripke said, it's like a car's a horse and two cowboys. But, to easy.
You're going to re-break Jensen's heart, guys. Come on. Easy.
We'll walk right into that one.
Way to set it up, Jensen. Way to set it up.
It'd be cool, though. That'd be a lot of fun. But I doubt it will ever happen.
There was sort of there was sort of the one shot in Boyertown, part one of.
Right.
There was sort of a very westerny feel to the. I forget the name of the episode, but where Sam runs into. Oh, this is part one. I mean, it was shot in this area that was shot. It's called Boyertown.
Westerns, yeah.
And so I don't know if the kind of I'd love to do a full-on western, you know, and I don't know if Sam and Dean are ever going to go like, whoa, what's this cowboy hat? And like get out on a horse.
Assless chaps.
Yes, please.
We'll get on Monday.
No pressure though, make it good.
Okay. Hi, my name is Iris Moon. And first of all, I want to say I agree with the moderator. You guys are really hot.
Thank you.
My question is, because of the dark things that happened to all the boys at the end of last season, are we going to expect a lot of the same like brotherly love humor as we saw in the last few seasons? Or is it going to be darker?
I hope it gets darker. I mean, I think there's obviously always going to be a sense of brotherly love, but with what Sam and Dean have gone through, it's changed them both and individualized them a bit more. I mean, as of right now, at least, they're you know, holding their own demons and their own skeletons and secrets. And usually it was, you made a deal, didn't you? Yeah. How long? A year. You suck. I'll get you out. Okay. And now there are things that we haven't told each other or expressed. We almost like we don't even know how yet. And so, though I think that obviously the brothers care about each other, I think situations have changed.
Yeah, I think you're going to find more that when the Sam and Dean are separated, that they're dealing with stuff that they don't necessarily want to share with each other a lot more. But when they're together, you know, they fall back into the same routine. So I don't think that that's going to completely go away, but I think that they're going to be dealing with things on their own accord that they haven't necessarily been doing in the past.
Yeah, I think, I think this, in terms of the writing, I mean, this scene-by-scene mix is about the same, which is, I think one thing that Supernatural has kind of evolved into is it transitions from comedy to horror to, dramatic sort of emotional angst, and it's kind of all those things, and I think in the writer's room, we're very conscious of maintaining that formula and making sure that even in our darkest episodes, there's a couple good lines and a couple funny beats, and making sure that it always has that sort of smart-ass effervescence or subversiveness that it's always had. But yeah, the brothers are going to get some heavy stuff, so it'll be a good season.
Leave it to a writer to use 2 4-syllable words.
Thank you very much. I get paid.
Effervescence and subversiveness.
I get nickels.
That was enlightening. Give me a job. I'll write a script.
Okay, folks, we have to wrap it up for today. How about a big hand for our panel?